talking all that bullshit. I'ma put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What is poppin'?
I don't have headphones.
Everybody, and welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast, where it's me and my only friends, which includes, but is not limited to, Guapito. What's poppin', baby?
I was running late today, Connie.
I said, fucking, what's going on?
Something happened on the 215. I don't know. Somebody decided to not drive following the rules of the road.
Well,
Lots of Landons out there.
Lots of Landons?
Lots of Landos.
He's just, crashing all over the place.
No, I mean, yeah.
What do you mean? What's going on?
No, I'm way too scared to be very close to another car. So
what about walls?
If I'm ever driving walls.
How do you feel about walls, Landon?
The garage moved on me, man.
The garage moved on you?
Yeah. I may or may not have hit a car against the side of a house.
Oh my God! Do you see Bolt? What's popping, Bolt?
Hey,
How you feeling today, buddy?
Bolt knows.
Good.
Bolt knows that I didn't do no wrong.
Bolt is amazing. We had a 4-hour nap yesterday. It was one of the best naps I've ever had.
Is this Bolt or is this Albie? I'm not sure.
Very close. They got to be
Leg count.
brothers from another mother.
Let's go, Bolt.
What's popping, Jesse?
Hello, Conrad. How are you?
I'm chilling, baby. How you doing today?
Hello, Conrad.
I'm just okay this morning.
Just okay. What do you mean?
Well,
Broken promises.
last night, out of the kindness of his heart, a certain handsome man told me that he'd bring me a latte today.
Okay.
An oat milk.
And then this
latte
morning
at
I wake up to a message that he's running late and I'm going to be latte-less.
Wow.
If I had to describe this man in 2 words,
that. Oh, no.
they would be gutless and scumbag.
You left out cherry picking, but I can do without
I
that
mean,
one.
it's fucked up because you would have got your own oat milk latte on the way to the podcast, but no. Guapo said he got you.
He really hit me where it hurts, Conrad.
That's fucked up, Guap.
right here.
I know. I feel bad.
Do you?
Genuinely, I do. But I'll make it up to him.
But oh my God.
Good luck getting any of my bad UFC advice after this. You might start winning at betting.
Talking about winning, what's popping, Berk?
Congratulations to all you guys on day 3 of the WPT main. Jesse bagged heaps, yeah?
Do I have anything to throw at him? I'm looking around for something. I can't find anything. I need to change this.
You have a lot?
We were off yesterday because everybody wanted to rest for day 2 of the WPT main.
Oh,
you guys had to get that extra sleep in because big day. We're going to go make dreams come true.
And then what happened?
Wait.
Everyone busted.
Who are you talking about?
Well, you...
Who are you talking about? Only Landon was the only one that wanted to get rest.
No, Jesse too. And then you busted at midnight and had to get drunk at a meetup game at 9 a.m.
It's true.
Okay, so you see where the podcast took a backseat.
Good luck, grinders. Best day of the year. WPT Main Championship. Except for Jesse, I guess.
Oh!
That's so bull.
Wait, you actually did bag?
Yeah, I have 2.2 million.
Oh, what the fuck are you doing here?
I like hanging out with you guys.
I would have bullied you if I knew you actually made day 3.
Dude, that's so painful. We didn't no swap. No love.
Yeah. Sorry, bro.
Why do you think he has 2.2 million?
No, he has me, man.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, I was like, oh, like he actually he texted me and it didn't come to my phone.
I was going to group text you guys, but I kept seeing Berkey register at 8:30 at night at the table next to me.
That was
like,
sharp. No, that was super sharp. You get 40 big blinds, and you get to play with a bunch of momos that are looking to double. I was all in my first orbit all 3 days with the best of it and a chance to fucking bag heaps. I had 4.5 starting stacks the first on 1A. Man, to not bag now in hindsight feels real bad.
It's 90-minute levels on day 2.
Yeah, I'm aware. I don't give a shit. What's the difference?
You
Make
know,
them
like
20-minute
a quarter of the field cashed with your stack. at one point.
Oh, I know. the pot I played was like still double average once they were in the money. So I lose a flip with like I lose a flip with like literally, I don't know, 12 hands to go or something along those lines. And it was for like 820K or something like that. And what was the kid's name? Conrad?
Chris Conrad.
Chris Conrad, yeah.
The other Conrad.
Yeah. He looks at me and he goes, he's like, well, I mean, you know, either one of us would be happy to take this flip now and, you know, have a stack like this. And I go, I don't think so.
Not me, brother.
I would have been quite thrilled to avoid it altogether. 450K, the utility of that on day 2 is pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to say that when you win the flip, but if your dusty ass was walking out the door, you wouldn't be sitting there thinking like, had a shot at 850K.
He won the flip and then said that to you?
Yeah, he's like, either one of us would have been happy to take this spot so we have this big stack. And it's like, yeah, I know you think that I believe that because I don't want to be here, but I still know how these things work, and I do not want to take that flip
To be fair,
at all.
that was also on the first day, so you definitely don't want to come back the second and third.
Yeah, no, it was the EV of the pot, or the equity of the pot itself was probably worth, I don't know, 25,000, maybe a little bit more.
Has to be more, man.
Yeah, it might be worth more. I mean, it was probably like a top
a starting
10
stack
stack.
is 10K.
Yeah, no, 100K.
A starting stack, I mean, in dollars.
Oh, yeah.
So if you
yeah,
win 8 starting stacks, you get. It's not going to be worth more than 25K.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's probably like 50 or 60 still.
okay.
Speaking of the WPT,
Just stop with the fucking speaking ofs. Like, just let the picture work for itself, man. Christ.
Speaking of, shut your mouth.
But
your face.
well, whatever the pot was worth. I mean, yeah, maybe it's worth more than 30, 40K. I don't know. But anyway, whatever it was worth, it's worth an additional 20,000 on top of that because now I'm rebuying 2 more times.
I said that when you bag, you actually save money and you cash the tournament because you don't have to buy it again.
Yeah, that's worth a lot.
It makes sense. I mean, average stack when they cash is probably around 8 starts, right? Because
I would think.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Big pot to lose.
It got me good. Fuck. Never really got traction on the other 2 days, but that's okay because I got to do my real job on those days.
And how did that go?
The heater's alive. I've
heard through the woodwork that went well.
I've seen aces so much in the last week and a half, man. Like aces on their backs when I'm up against them and I have a better hand. Aces in front of me whenever I'm getting all the action I can handle.
We love aces.
Aces are nice. They're good hands.
Doing all this work with not aces, who would do that?
Yeah, I was talking to somebody in the game yesterday and I realized like I don't have an edge. I just am able to withstand the ups and downs more than everyone else. You know, I just show up and I downswing for 5 months. And then all in one fell swoop, I get dealt the top of the deck. And because it's me, I get to charge an extra 10% face equity cost. And that's my bottom line for the year. You know, it's like I make 10% more when I win than I do when I lose. And that's what we call poker.
That's no limit,
I think
baby.
that's how it works,
Yeah,
right?
that's how you make a living.
Living on the margins, Berk.
Tell me all about it, Tortoise. See you out there rolling around in a new whip.
Yeah.
Crypto must be up.
Yeah. I
said
did
the same thing.
I upgraded from the Civic to the Accord, just like you told me.
Shit.
Wow.
Let's go.
Oh, shit. He's got
go.
the mid-size, baby.
Hybrid, baby, hybrid.
Wow.
You
Wow.
know?
Well, you gotta take care of the earth.
I think they only make them in hybrids nowadays.
I mean, what's the point in having a gas guzzling Accord?
Right, exactly. I mean, it still guzzles some gas, but not as much.
But, you know, what do you get, like,
Oh, shit. You got
what do you get, about 95 miles to the gallon with that piece?
something crazy like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something crazy.
If Bitcoin hits 200K, we're trading this baby in for a Tesla.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
Let's,
there's not like a next step after the Accord? I feel like Honda just keeps going all the way up.
Maybe because
A
they have
pilot.
like, well, like yeah, if you want to get an SUV, I think. Well, they have Acura, right? Isn't Honda and Acura owned by the same? Like Honda's owns Acura, so you'd
that
go up
would
to that.
make some sense to me.
I think
Yeah.
that's how it works.
Wait, not. Isn't Acura Nissan?
Yeah.
Isn't it a Nissan Acura?
No. Wait, hold on.
No, Acura is a brand.
Yeah.
Acura is a brand of car.
Am I losing my shit?
Yeah, you are.
I think I am.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this is someone.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that Honda owns Acura.
You are correct.
Honda owns Acura.
Honda owns everything.
Honda
to be
does own
clear.
Acura.
What's kind of funny is there's rumors that Nissan and Honda are going to merge as well.
Yeah, why the fuck not?
They all need to merge to try to compete with Tesla.
I can't remember
they're
what
not going to do.
I can't remember what American car I had once upon a time, but I do recall it having a Toyota engine and me being like flabbergasted when I found that out.
No.
Yeah, or maybe it wasn't an American car. It might have been an import. But either way, it was a non-Asian car.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a Honda or anything like that.
You saying that reminded me of wait.
Oh no! Don't start. No. Too early in the morning for this one, boys. We're not getting started. Wait.
What a classic throwback banger.
These hidden gems that the audience will never be privy to.
I don't know this one.
Even better. It's even better when our staff doesn't know. Okay, so we got some poker.
He's on staff.
You getting paid?
No.
He's getting paid.
No.
I grew up in a civic family myself. I got it. Wow, Dan O'Brien. Look at him go.
That was not the reference, Guapo.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted to be in the loop, so.
While we're here, why did you put the book bag up too?
You told me to put up.
He just
No,
wanted.
I said hold on to it. Jesus.
He just wanted to ensure that you interrupted any flow of conversation to point to a picture that everybody can fucking see. Just let it do work, man.
Yo, I was about to give a sales pitch. You fucked me up. Now I can't do it.
Nobody's buying your book bag for $10K.
10.4. First off, I'm not fucking giving any discounts out here. I might be able to find an extra deck of cards.
Relax. We got a lot of poker to catch up on. We missed yesterday, so we missed moving day at the WSOP Bahamas. And I guess also technically moving day at the WPT, as they're now both in the money. WPT is coming back to 299 players today, so their total prize pool was $23.4 million. They had 2,392 runners. Min cash was 19.6. You guys are right around the 40K mark now, I think. Is that right, Jess?
Yeah, something like that.
You have 2.2 million?
2.2 is
like
nice.
fourth or something.
No, he's fucking.
No, you're not fourth. First of all, that's not fourth. You're not even in, are you?
I don't have any chips, man.
He lied to us.
I mean,
You're
to be fair,
guy.
2.2 million would have been top 10. I didn't think that it would have been top 10.
I can't believe you lied to us
What
like that.
a fucking liar.
I tried to drop subtle hints like 2.2 million that I wasn't telling the truth, but you guys just kept letting them through.
Why
so.
would 2.2?
That's sharp.
I
give
feel
it
like
away?
2.2 is like chip leader right now, isn't it?
No, 3.2.
Oh, wow. There's
Which,
some people with like 50K still in
Sure.
the tournament if you go all the way down.
God bless them.
I get it.
Welcome back, Tortoise. Just came out of his slumber.
Hey, man, it's a lot better than not having 50K right now.
Absolutely.
That's true.
You
put it that
get
way.
it, Jesse. You get it. Tournament life is
I
everything.
envy those people with 50K.
That chip
Me too.
leader is Malcolm Trainer. He is 3.275. Right behind him is
Jesse
ODB.
Sylvia. It's Jesse Sylvia.
It's not Jesse Sylvia. It's ODB, David Baker. He has 2.8 million. So does Scott Stewart. Lot of legends still in the mix. You are not going to get the Player of the Year, as
No, I will not.
it would appear as though your Florida cohort is still in. Why can't I find his name?
Dylan Smith?
Yeah, but I'm trying to find his chip count.
He's just a chill guy.
Dylan Smith is still in. He has a chance to still win Player of the Year. I think he needs to final table this.
Who's currently leading Player of the Year?
Yoon Q song.
Correct.
Who?
Yoon Q's a legend. Yoon Q the GOAT.
The guy that puts his jacket on every time he's all in.
Jacket.
I'm going to try
Jacket.
that.
His lucky jacket.
Frank Casella?
No, not him.
Calvin Anderson still in. Oh, there's Dylan Smith. He has 1.6 million. Ape Style still in with 1.5. Big shout out to Marcus Gonzalez. I don't know how the fuck he's still in there with 1.4. Actually, I do know how. He probably got Delta Ace King a lot and won. So Makita's in. This is wild to me. I saw him on day 1B or 1C, and I go, what the fuck is Makita doing here? He was just in the Bahamas for the 500K. And someone was like, oh, he won his seat to the 10K WPT, so he flew to Vegas. And it's like, no way. I mean, maybe it is. I was going to say, there's no way that it's worth it to travel destination to destination to play a comparable event when you're free rolled into one single bullet as opposed to being able to fire like multiple. Like, he obviously skipped the 25K main event, but then again,
wait, did he though? Could he?
Yeah, we
could
don't
he
know
have
that.
toasted the 20? Is that a? I don't even know. Is that a freeze out or is that a replay?
oh, Jesse, oh boy, you're gonna learn a little something today. It is as far from a freeze out as possible. You can play 2 stacks at once if you want.
You gonna learn.
Wait, what?
You can do whatever you want in the WSOP Bahamas, baby. They got a $50 million prize pool to try to fill. You kidding me? Freeze out. So fuck out of here.
It started as a freeze out and then as the overlay.
Right. There was
Yeah, I
one
get
person
it.
who fired 9 bullets.
9?
Allegedly. Wow. Just the 250K.
What was their alleged name?
They didn't disclose that.
Oh, okay.
Allegedly, they didn't tell us.
They did not tell us. But huge shout out in the WPT. One Ling Ling is still in the mix.
Let's go, Ling Ling.
This is the person you battle with all the time, right?
Yeah,
You guys play Cash?
she plays Cash all the time.
Yeah.
She's the fucking best. She was on the live stream yesterday, just rifling it off every hand. Got Chino to fold queens with King Deuce suited somehow.
What?
No interaction with the board whatsoever. Overcard didn't fall till the river.
You love to
I
see
mean,
it.
the line is kind of nice. She opened. I mean, opening under the gun +1, a little
Sure.
much, but then just went bet jam on.
Did he not 3-bet?
No, he called big blind. I think he just peeled
Okay, Chino.
because I don't think that she called the 3-bet.
Okay, Chino.
But she might have.
First of all, she would definitely call it 3-bet, so like, let's not pretend like there's no shot.
Yeah,
But
let's find
wow,
out. Can we scroll back?
excellent work, Guapo.
Thanks, buddy.
Way to just find this on a dime.
Can we scroll back to
Shout
see
out to
what the
Hannah
action
in the
was?
box.
If you, yeah,
Not going back.
yeah.
Yeah, let's just see what happened pre-flop here. If Chino chose not to 3-bet this one, I don't.
He didn't.
You don't have to
3-bet.
go back. You can just keep going. You just.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Go forward now.
He didn't 3-bet
Well, if
How do you
they're
know?
if they're not
because I just saw his action. The way
if
he
they're
just
not
put
in the
his
money
chips
yet,
and then he
peel
checked
might
flop.
be reasonable from these.
Yeah,
They're
they're not
super deep.
They're not in the money, but Jesse.
go.
I would call.
I mean, I
two.
get that you have like certain player tendencies.
What do
and-
you guys do? I mean, she has King Deuce suited under the gun too.
This
like,
is why you bubble
3-bet
tournaments and don't cash them.
No. This is why I have the fucking chip lead here because.
Where are you?
What do you mean?
You're sitting here on the podcast, not playing day 3.
Yeah,
the chip lead.
because they took
Without
the
the
fucking
chip
chip lead away from me whenever I had Ace King suited.
You're feast or famine, and you're famine.
Whatever, man. You live to fucking die. Like,
Die.
he covers her by 250K.
Sure.
Number one.
You
Number
live to
two,
die.
you're like 200 away from cashing this tournament. It's not like you're super close.
Yo, you live to die is not only not the phrase, but it's such a perfect Berkey colloquialism.
You live to
I like
die.
really.
Wait,
enjoy
what
that
is
one.
the phrase? There's no.
How is she?
I
gonna
just-
win
I
this
just said
hand
a
is what
word,
I
or I
don't
just
You
said-
came up with
Oh, I
something.
see what
Yeah,
you're saying.
I don't think that
that's
there's a
fair. It's
colloquialism.
it is a phrase now, baby. Let's fucking go.
Tell me where I'm wrong. Do you not live to die?
No, you're absolutely right.
Do we all not do that?
Jesse, were you emceeing this?
What's that?
I said, were you emceeing this?
No,
I think Jamie
I'm
was
in the
in the
booth
booth.
tomorrow.
He's back.
I'm excited. I have the most exciting co-commentator of all time.
Harvey?
Actually, that'd be
Saki?
sweet.
Harvey and Saki.
No, it's the other household member.
Oh, Ashley.
Yeah.
Nice.
Congratulations, Ashley. All right, so she's betting half pot on the turn, ish. Chino's obviously call. I mean, like,
I assume a 5 or a 6 comes on the river.
here's the thing: Chino would never play
No.
any hand in the big blind this way except for fucking queens.
Okay.
Like, if he had a pair and a piece, like he would have check raised 3 times already by now.
Pair and a piece.
And now the ace falls.
Oh, I see
We
what
give
happens
up.
here.
And she goes for the
She goes
overbet.
for 300K.
300,000.
Man, I love Ling Ling.
She's a gangster.
That's what I mean.
Straight
Look,
hood.
like, this line is not bad in relation to what is supposed to be going on.
Maybe she just picked, the wrong hand to open. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Chino would have a lot of hands in the big blind here that this line would perform pretty poorly against.
Like,
But his check call range, she's doing really well on this river. I agree.
Hmm.
And it makes sense.
I mean,
He should just have like a lot of 2-pair plus.
I think,
and then he should also have a lot of like bluffs, flop, and turn.
2-pair plus. I mean, there's not that much 2-pair.
I mean, he's gonna have all 8-7, all 3-4 suited.
He's gonna have a bunch of 1-pair combos as also. Like
He's also gonna have like
right, but a lot of them
draw.
should exit flop or turn, I think.
1-pair.
I mean, he's
Not really,
no,
right?
I don't think you're folding flop or turn.
4, 5, 7,
no,
5, 7, 6.
No, I'm saying like he would have a fair amount of check raises available to him.
Oh, gotcha.
I mean,
Well, he doesn't ever
But
get to the
still.
river with like 8-7, for instance, right? Because
That's
one.
that's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay,
So-
okay.
But that means he has like
He also
7,
has 2-5
6,
suited.
8-5, like hands like that.
he has deuce 5 suited
In the big blind,
that somehow calls a flop bet.
I mean, she bet quarter pot if he has like deuce 5 of diamonds.
He might just play check raise or full with that. But
Yeah.
like he's got like ace 3,
Landon
ace
just
4,
looked,
ace
Landon's
7,
stepping.
ace
Oh
8.
God, it's
Just keep
happening.
playing cash, man.
It's happening.
He's got all the ace high clubs.
I'm not folding 5 deuces.
Imagine
He's got a
looking at
lot
deuce
of
5
aces.
suited saying, yeah, this is a spot I can win.
All right, fine. He has 5-6, whatever.
He's a straight sometimes.
Yeah, he probably doesn't play 5-6 this way.
He runs a training academy saying deuce 5 suited on 8-7-3.
Brother, I'm not folding three to a straight through to a flush. You're gonna have to take those cards out of my fucking dead hands.
You live to die.
Okay, like,
To die.
this is my board, baby.
Brother makes the chip lead by finding this backdoor wheel draw.
No, I would make the chip lead by fucking
That's
finding a way all in with queens if I was trapping with them.
Does Ling Ling show the
That's a
bluff?
better way to qualify it.
What?
This is my board. You're going.
Deuce 5 suited.
I don't know what Ling Ling does. I stopped watching after she bet 300K because I knew Chino was never calling.
I feel like bluffing Chino is a taller order than most people.
People say that about bluffing me too, but it's easier than bluffing most people because we get to the river with too many hands. Like, yeah, bluffing.
That's a good point.
Bluffing me or Chino on the flop or turn,
Yeah.
good fucking work.
Yeah.
Good work. But like getting us to fold a river, like no shit. we still have fucking 7 high somehow. Yeah, a lot of inspired play out there on the live stream yesterday. Down to 299 players. Play resumes at noon. I think the live stream comes on at 1. Seaward's still in there?
Jeremiah's still in.
Jeremiah's still in. A lot of good players. Tons of good players.
Yeah.
Still 300 people. We're so far away. Can't pay too close attention to this yet because there's a much bigger event
How
that
many
is much
people
closer to
do you
concluding.
think make day 4 out of these 300?
120.
No.
Less.
90-minute
Under.
levels again, right?
Lower.
Lower.
For sure lower.
For sure lower.
Lower than 100?
I think a quarter of this field will make it.
60.
Sounds about right.
So what are we
That's
talking?
80.
75.
75?
80, 70.
Yeah, 75-ish.
Well, day 5 they got to play down to 9, right? Or 6? I don't know what they're doing this year.
Oh, good question.
So
Does that mean they're running 5 90-minute levels again?
Yeah, every day. Every day.
you would hope that
Until
they
they
get
make
to
it
like
to-
50 today or tomorrow. Today?
Yeah, ideally, I think they would want to be between 50 and 60 today. Not 120. I'll take lower.
Okay, then lower.
Lower.
I will take lower.
Come on, the boys.
I don't know. I'm just saying what you would hope would happen so
Yeah.
that you don't have a
It's gonna land exactly
just
120.
super long day for the commentators tomorrow.
Think about the commentators.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody
Jesse.
thinks about the
They
commentators.
really don't.
Curtis.
You know, it's like you're an afterthought. It's not
Tough.
fair.
It's tough out here in these streets.
It is.
Not about the
Yeah.
commentators.
Not
Right.
about the commentators.
I have a
Not about the
fun
rise.
Lingland story.
Go ahead.
I was in line to buy in to the 10K main event, and she was buying in next to me, and I said hi to her. She goes, "Were you on commentary?" I go, "Yeah." She was like, "You were very funny." It was when Berkey made trips like 8 hands in a row, you started laughing and you didn't stop for 30 minutes. I was like, yeah, it's great. You know, like I enjoy watching him run good, but it was like everyone was already worked up about it. And then he's just hitting every flop. And I know that they're just going to watch this back and get so angry. And she was like, "He's still running good. He's in Bobby's room right now. And he's winning every pot over there."
I haven't watched back the coverage yet. I got to watch like the first orbit of Squid where I scooped, which it was so unfortunate that you didn't have the right information because it was so much worse than you were able to communicate to the audience. So I think we clarified this, but what happens when you scoop in Squid is that you win all of the bounties from all of the people not sitting.
Yeah. I got it right on day 2. I think after you explained it to me on the podcast.
Yeah.
But day 1, I definitely screwed that way up.
So yeah, I end up like scooping all of the bounties on the first one. And you're like, I think that's double. And it's like, I just made 15K. But yeah, I haven't really gotten to come back through the footage and listen to it. But even in just like that first round of Squid where I'm winning too many pots, I can already see the way that this is going to trend.
The best part of you running good was Marcus holding it together so well for hours and hours. He's just sitting there, like you could tell, like the look on his face. There's something brewing underneath. But he's holding it together, and then finally you stack him every day. He's just like, that's enough. It just stands up.
It was ace-6 versus ace-queen.
Yeah.
You remember the flush? And he just dumps the chips in. I'm out.
Enough.
He's
not like good game. He's just like, that's all I can take.
He was ready to murder Berkey.
The thing with Marcus is that he also ran incredibly well from the little bit. He had ace king every third fucking hand. The problem is the way that he plays, he just doesn't like put money into the pot. You know what I mean? So it's like he wins a bunch of small ones whenever he has ace king, unless he cools somebody off, and then he has to defend like the 9 deuce suited when we're playing Squid, and it's like, okay, well, you're just, you have to give something back whenever you're defending these types of hands. You're not going to run good enough.
Speak for him, not yourself.
He did have one light 3-bet. Berkey kept telling him he would only have ace king if he 3-bet, and then he had one light 3-bet with some like
5-6
some suited
diamonds.
Garbage hand, and Berkey just had aces or kings or something. Shut it right down. It was so brutal.
Well, no,
he made a flush that hand.
Yeah,
too.
he flopped a flush, and then Berkey runs out of fucking full house.
That was a crazy hand because I thought he'd finally get him.
Yeah.
And the board pair. I mean, that was probably part of my giggle fit. Was that whole string of hands? I was losing my mind. I was having a good time.
Not today, Satan. Not today.
Oh yeah, there's still a legend in day 3.
Go on.
One Joey Ingram.
He made it.
Let's
go.
He's making it.
Man, cue the photo op.
Get the photo.
There's a picture on Instagram that Hannah, the dealer, posted of her and Ingram. And Ingram looks like he's fresh out of jail. Like, just a complete psychopath sitting there like stone-faced. And I text her, I go, crop Ingram out of this photo. She goes, he took it with his phone. He wanted it. I can't crop him out. I was like, Poppy, man, if you're going to ask for the photo op, you got to pretend like you want to be there.
Oh my gosh.
Looks like he belongs in an orange jumpsuit.
He's locked in.
He is locked in. I was watching the stories.
Not that one.
That's fine.
That's a great one.
Probably
That
sent
is a
it to
good
you. He's peak tourist right now, Joey.
He's doing the Lord's work though. He's getting in the pads like story updates. You know what I mean? Like we're sweating the runouts with him. All we need is him like shouting "Mamacita" off a balcony at some point. There we go.
That picture right
That's
there.
the one. He looks like he's ready to actually maul someone's face off.
In the zone.
Back in the day, that's exactly what a Tortoise would look like.
That's what I'm saying.
Now that's what the pros look like.
Yeah.
He says, what would Vogelsang do? What would Pads do? What would Foxen do? That's what he says in the question marks as to how he's locking in.
Locked in, baby. The Legion's here for day 3.
I swear, if people play hands, I've never played hands like this in these tournaments.
I have to say, what would like the most elite player in your mind do has actually helped me as like in game as a player.
What would
in the
Harvey
past.
do?
Like I'll get into a spot where like I want to be kind of passive, and they'll be like, "Wait, what would like so and so do?" And I feel like that has improved me a little bit as a player.
Who's your favorite?
I guess it depends on the year and the Adamo.
I mean, we know what that guy's doing.
Funny
What
you
would
should
Adamo
mention Adamo.
Great
He's currently chip leading Paradise with 36 left.
Paradise.
Wait, he's chip leader now?
He's chip
I
leader.
saw that he was doing well last night. They've restarted or?
No. Not yet. Well, yeah, I guess actually East Coast time. They would have.
They must have, because I think he didn't bag chip lead.
No, he bagged chip lead.
Oh.
He bagged 85.35 million, which is good for the chip lead.
Wow.
The entire Len top 7.
Let's
go, Tom Brady.
Honestly, like.
Yeah, when I looked it up last night, sorry to interrupt you, that's Surratt.
Surzat Hisso.
Yeah, he plays the super high rollers in Triton, right?
Yeah, I
chip
played
lead.
guys with him at WPT. Cruz. He's a
Good
funny guy.
moneymaker up
Look at
there.
Moneymaker in there, top 10.
Moneymakers in the mix. I got to tell you, if you compared the top 10 with 36 remaining, well, I guess it's not a fair comparison, but if you compare the top 10 of the WSOP Paradise compared to like the WPT, different caliber of player. Different caliber of player over here in the WSOP side. A lot of high rollers in that list, and Moneymaker, of course.
Yeah, the sharp money stayed here and played the win.
Right. Like
Nick Mamoni.
Like, and I mean this with all love, but Moneymaker is what qualifies as a recreational in this top 10. Whereas, like, when we go back to the WPT side, there's like 6 people without a photo that are from middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, won their way in through the WPT Club WPT Gold Pass. It's like little different.
The heart and
love to
soul of
see it.
poker.
Just living to die.
But just live to die. You guys put it on a t-shirt, baby. Let's go.
I noticed you guys say
I think that'd be
when
a great
when you're
t-shirt.
trying to say one. It's driving me a little crazy.
What is
I'm
it?
sorry, what?
When you say one, it sounds like you're saying Juan. Sorry. I just had to bring that up because Landon or Brian said it the other day too.
That's racist, man.
It's one, not one.
What you thought he was? You
Wait,
started
someone-
looking at-
when
These are
someone
two
wins.
different words.
One.
No, you're saying the number.
Like when someone wins, one.
That's the number.
Juan is what you're supposed to
We
say?
say Juan.
That's weird.
I won.
One.
Okay,
I
sorry,
won
moving
something.
on.
Juan. Well, you just keep.
I think it's funny that you put the Spanish accent on it.
English is not his second language, by the way.
Wait, no. I think it's funny that he wanted to emphasize that we say Juan instead of one. And so to do so, he said, Juan. You guys keep saying Juan. And I'm like, nobody said that. Definitely no one said
I did
that.
put a little extra spice on that. You're right.
I'm for sure no one cleared their throat before it.
I definitely didn't clear my throat.
But
Like,
yeah,
Guapo, like if I say I won a tournament, it's not I won a tournament.
I've always said I won a tournament. I've
Won.
never said that. But yeah.
One.
one and Juan are two different words.
One.
Huh.
In my
Like he won a
Mind.
prize. Not he won a prize.
He won a prize.
Okay, moving on. WSOP tried to do the
I got something
impossible.
for this.
Wait, for which?
Sorry, no, I'm not gonna.
For the
this
one
is-
bit? Or
Yeah, for the one bit.
Okay. Well, get it out of your system so we don't have to come back to it.
If Guapo's cousins get heads up,
I'm clipping this and I'm putting it all over social media.
would you say they're one on one?
Yes. One-on-one
Which
violence.
one won?
And which one won? Oh my god, that's amazing. Can we make a T-shirt out of that?
Oh no, we've been
Anything to get
got.
us
Is it
away
all
from
over for us?
scumbag.
Yeah.
This is
It's
beautiful.
all over.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
absolutely
We
beautiful.
do have to get the gutless scumbag t-shirts out.
Yeah.
We got a lot of t-shirts we need to make by the end of the year.
Guess what? We got a lot of work to do.
We got Fantastic Four, gutless scumbag,
Yep.
Juan versus Juan.
Or just gutless scumbag, and then the accompanying shirt is just Berkey with pocket twos, and it says "You live to die."
I'm really excited for the "You Live to Die" shirt.
That's
I
gonna
don't,
be a great shirt.
I don't know what the imagery is going to be, but like this one might be a hit.
feel like-
Landon needs to have the pocket twos on the picture.
I feel like we need a Hell Yeah Brother shirt.
Hell yeah, brother!
Gotta bring back Hell Yeah.
Hell yeah!
I think you might get sued
It's
for
just
that
Scott.
one.
We have a hell yeah, brother, and it's just Scott Staff's silhouette.
I'm not sure where Hulk Hogan's current funds are at, current net worth is at, but I don't know if he's above suing you guys.
No, I agree. I
Right.
agree with you. Okay, to the big story that we keep pushing back. WSOP put a $50 million guarantee on their 25K. Seemed outrageous. No 25K has ever hit this sort of prize pool. I think the biggest one prior to this was PSPC 2 years ago, which was roughly 23 million, similar to the 10K WPT run here. We had reported on Monday that there was going to be a massive overlay. There were something like 660 people away from hitting the guarantee with one level of registration left open. And hey, shocker, they fucking got there.
Yeah.
They overlaid by 500,000. So they had total entries 1,978. They needed 2,000, meaning that they missed it by only 22 people. And here's the catch as to why. The 1,378 that we reported on Monday, that was accurate. They had 600 online qualifiers. that were not reported in the numbers, which
They played day one. They played day one online.
So they played day one online. You play down to the money, and then you join day 3
when everyone's in the money
of the live event when everybody's in the money.
Gotcha.
So 60 players from online joined yesterday's day 3 once they had already made the money. Shout out to Phil Hellmuth for allowing everybody to get rich. He was the Stone Bubble Boy. Very unlucky.
Amazing.
I can't imagine how short he was to play a 3-way all-in with Ace-King versus 7-6 suited versus 4-3 suited. But that's ultimately what happened here. Alex Keating, shout out to my man I Fly Flats. Is that what it is?
Fly flat.
Fly Flats, not I Fly Flats. Fly Flats. Hooked me up with that.
Fly flat.
What if Helmuth just
Singular.
ripped like 20 bigs in, and these guys had so many chips that just wanted
They
to ruin
both
his...
said fuck you.
They won.
You
They
know,
won
Jesse,
too.
if I had to guess, he was probably all in for sub 5 blinds.
He might have been all in for sub 1 blind.
Yeah, that's also very accurate. You think he did the leave behind with the chip?
Oh, maybe.
You think that's how he got crippled?
No, I don't think
I don't think so.
yeah.
I don't think so.
Do you
Yeah,
ever
I
see
don't
there's
think
a
so
very
either.
famous clip where, or not very famous, but famous in my mind. It's like a poker after dark, and he's 3-handed with someone in Esfandiari, and he just blinds down. His making a stand is, I'm not going to let these guys have the best hand.
Right.
And he blinds down to like almost no chips. And Antonio looks over at one point at a stack, and it's like 4 chips, and he goes, "Moment of silence for Phil's nub." It's just perfect.
That's incredible. So overlooking the fact that they may have been a little misleading in their marketing to get people to turn up and maybe fire those extra shells, this is a pretty incredible feat. To get 50 million in the prize pool at a 25K buy-in level,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the adjusted for the buy-in, this is like the equivalent of 30-ish million for a 10K, which also was quite a feat when WPT pulled that off both last year and I guess they were a little under 30 million the first year.
The first year they
28-ish.
27.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, pretty incredible turnout. To find 2,000 people to play an effective high roller is really remarkable stuff. The online live hybrid model seems to be working well.
1,400 people and 600 Svens.
Yeah, I mean, look, to get 600 Svens to fly across, it's to get 600 Svens to vie for the opportunity to fly across the world, and then 60 of them showed up. That's kind of a big deal, you know. It's really sharp. Like
They play down at 10%.
I would assume something like that.
It's pretty exciting to see stuff like that, knowing that we're about to have America only
Right.
poker site with WPT, Club WPT Gold.
Well, not just that, but like WSOP still exists here. GG is going to sooner than later,
That is
I
true.
imagine, on board with WSOP. So it's like this isn't out of the question for bare minimum the Jersey, Nevada, Michigan, PA.
Mm-hmm.
And PA is coming into that pool, I believe, soon. Like the belief is they're going to merge in the near future.
I mean, it seems like
in the very near future.
It seems like a couple other states have gotten like permission to start online poker.
I know West Virginia, Delaware, and maybe a couple other really small. Connecticut, I think maybe. I could be mistaken about that one, but anyway, they're very, very, very small. They've been regulated, but I don't think anybody's launching there because the liquidity is not really enough to go after.
Yeah, and probably also have. Oh no, they don't have casino issues in Connecticut. Never mind. Go on.
Right. No, but the bigger point here is that like this hybrid format, it's really nice in kind of two capacities. So first of all, they got 30% of their player pool or their guarantee filled online, where you know it's a click of the button away. You can run very effortlessly large field events. You can run super satellites into the event. You know what I mean? Like,
Let me ask you a question. I'm sorry. Was there only one day one online or one?
no, I think there were multiple.
There were multiple.
I'm pretty sure there were multiple.
Okay. For some reason, I thought there was only one,
which
would be pretty impressive.
There were multiple last year, so I can't imagine.
Gotcha.
That was for a 5K. I can't imagine that there's only one for a 25K. But the bigger point is like there's a a very clear funnel here that doesn't really function as well live. It's very difficult to run like these supers to a satellite to a 25K. Like the win is currently, or did it yesterday for today's 25K Alpha 8. Are you playing that, by the way?
What is this?
The Alpha 8 25K? You're not, because you have commentary tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess not. If it's tomorrow.
Are you playing? No, it's today.
And I'm doing final table commentary too.
Are you playing it?
No.
You're out?
Yeah, I'm out.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, let's get you in there.
Yeah, let's get you in there.
Mm.
Why are you out?
Come on.
I don't have to be out.
Wait, if you win it, don't you?
I'm considering playing. Why are you not playing?
If you're playing, I'm playing.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
Someone's in a deuce 5 suit on 873.
I would have won that pot. I would have check raised and won.
Well, you would have won or won?
I would have won.
You would have
You know what?
Juan.
I'm glad you guys just said that.
Juan is not pronounced with an O sound. It's a U sound. One, the same as cup. I don't know what it
rhymes with both sun and fun.
Okay, I don't know what
One.
italic-y is, but I call bullshit.
If I were to
It's my
pick two
second
words to
language,
describe
boys.
the definition of one, I would say gutless.
I think I'm right on this one. I think I got you guys.
Yeah, I think you're
You
right.
might have.
Berkey's definitely not gonna let
Wait,
this
you
one
think
go.
Guapo won or
No,
won
Berkey's
this one?
already Googling.
Yeah,
he's already trying to
already
rebut
doing
it.
research.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fucking pulling up some random goddamn site. I don't
Yeah,
trust
some
this
random
shit.
goddamn site. Google.
It's called Google.
Pull up that random
How to
site.
pronounce
Google.
one.
It's not Google.
It says Google right there. Literally fucking Googled
You
it.
can't be this dumb.
Oh, you can't be this dumb.
Google's the search engine.
It's
It's
right.
pulling from Italica or Italic-y or whatever the hell that site is.
Right. That's what Google deems to be
Itaki?
correct.
Okay, so if it was Quora, you would just take that as being truth?
What the fuck is Quora?
Exactly. Quora is like a trash site where people crowdsource their answers.
Okay,
I'll
man.
Take,
Do you
I'll
ha-
take my apology at any point,
Yeah,
boys.
Berkey just can't admit to being wrong ever. That's
You guys
To
are
be
gonna get
honest,
trashed.
if I were a betting man, I would pick Guapo is right about this over the five of us.
What, I'm not.
and
I'm not
already
against
realized.
Guapo. Don't lump me in.
I'm
that
just
group.
laughing
What?
about Guapo's cousins playing
I'm
heads up
defending
and
Guapo.
Juan
I'm
won and Juan or something shit like that. Yeah, that was funny.
Fucking Jesse.
Matt taking a long time to find a source.
Was
I
that
think
over
he got
the
you.
line, man? I'm sorry.
No, that was
that was
perfect.
good, actually.
That was perfect.
That was very good.
It's nothing's over the
What
line.
have
We
you
pay him
found?
in tortillas.
Nothing. I'm not looking. Okay, so the World Series. They missed their guarantee, but I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
About me winning.
You guys are the worst. Truly, truly the worst.
I would like to point out that Lamanna was the most wrong
Thank
in
you.
that argument.
Thank
He was
you.
not on Guapo's side.
Right. Never. I would never defend Guapo.
He was the one that Guapo pointed to as the example of saying Juan.
But I wasn't saying I was saying it correctly.
He wasn't definitive on
I'm
whether or not
saying
he was
yes, I
saying
say it
correctly.
that way. I'm not saying it's correct. I obviously say a lot of things incorrect. I'm from Pittsburgh.
All right. So to the chip counts we go. Live Brie bag, 36 remaining. Moneymaker top 10. We already talked about all this stuff. Let's get in the muck.
But by the way, if you go to the if you use the WSOP Plus app to watch updates, to look at updates, for some reason only Chris Moneymaker is in all caps locks, and then everyone else is lowercase. So it's like you're going through the list of people, and you're like, oh, high roller, high roller, high roller, Chris Moneymaker.
Let's go.
I don't
Maybe
know why,
because he's
but
a
I
Hall
really
of
enjoyed
Famer.
Yep.
He's
Maybe
the only,
because he's
only
a
Hall
legend.
of Famer remaining.
that. Oh, fair enough.
Amazing.
Graphic.
All right, let's get in the muck.
All right. Who is this a user submission?
Yes, it is user submission. They're playing 2-3-5-20 over at Bay 101. So it's a pretty deep 2-3 game with the straddles on. I think they're like 4K deep. At
They just
our
skipped
hero
the-
is
They skip the 10.
they skipped the 10. Yeah,
yeah, fuck the 10.
Sickos.
Why
Who
put
needs
a 10 in there? Yeah,
Fuck the 10.
just 2-3-5-20.
Brian, will you re-tag me in that? Because I can't find it.
Oh no. Okay, yes, maybe. Let me find it.
This podcast.
Wait,
is
let's
off the
talk about
rails.
1 and 1 again.
Oh, I love hanging out with my only friends.
I'd just like
One
to
of
point
your
out that
only
I was
friends?
correct again.
Or one of your only friends.
My one only friend.
This is quickly becoming a top 5 episode. I gotta
It
say.
has to be, yeah, for sure.
This is some really nice stuff.
This is what the people
Everyone.
came to see.
Right. This is what happens when I can't have caffeine. So
You can't,
can't
have,
have
caffeine.
it?
I mean, I can. I'm getting blood work later, so I have to fast. So I've not had any
getting
coffee.
some
Are you
shell work
slower
done.
than normal?
Yes. It's been a fucking struggle, let me tell you. Okay, so here we are. We're in the straddle.
All right.
And, folds around to the small blind, who makes it 60. We decide to defend with the ace 10 of hearts. Up comes ace of clubs, queen of clubs, deuce of diamonds. We are met with a check. We decide to bet quarter pot. They call. The turn is the king of clubs. They check. We check back. And the river is the deuce of hearts. They decide to check again. And now we go for value. We bet pot. And we are met with a jam for 2,000. So it's about a 3x pot jam. And
That guy's sick.
we don't know what happens.
It's a cliffhanger.
It's a cliffhanger. So
Nice.
yeah, I mean they didn't say what happened or if they called or if they they might have said they called, but they didn't say what the result was. Yeah, they did call, but they didn't say what the result was.
Wow,
That's right.
they found the call. That's
They found
pretty
the
sick.
call.
Sick.
They found the call, but they didn't let us know whether they won or not. So that's where we're at.
I mean, he's hoping to beat like King Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, queen, jack of clubs type stuff, right?
I think the hard part about this hand is that the small blind doesn't have checks on this texture.
on the flop.
Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, like it's just a very range advantageous board.
It's a straddle ante, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like the range, sorry, because the range is different than like normal.
he's opening very tight and I mean,
Yeah,
I
he
don't know.
should
If,
be.
I don't know if polar is like the right word here, but relatively polar.
It's not the same as just blind versus blind. No ante.
He has almost no limps, especially with the addition. I mean, I couldn't run this for a double straddle, but in a normal 3 blind game, you play very few limps from this position. In a 4 blind game, I imagine you play as close to 0 as possible.
This is a 3 blind game though. It's 2-3-20.
But the big blind's
2,
so
3, 5,
big that
20.
your
Right.
limp is essentially like, it's as if you're limping from any other position, except you just have to be out of position as well, because it's not like you're getting a better price. You only have 2 in there. So it's
Yeah.
like, I'm just sort of spelling out why what
Yes.
you said is correct.
I actually would kind of push back though a little bit because the 4th blind is so large by comparison to. So since it's 2, 5, wait, what is it?
2, 3, 5,
20.
20.
So since it's 2, 3, 5, 20, and the 20 is a multiple 4x the big blind, by limping, you're kind of essentially applying the same pressure to the middle 2 positions as if you had raised.
Yeah, but you need to limp, or like your VPIP is going to be quite tight with 3 players behind that are all in position on
Yes, yeah. Obviously,
So,
all
like,
of that's true.
yeah.
I'm just kind of countering the reason why we don't really limp in like a 1-2-4 game is because the price that the 1 and the 2 are getting is still pretty good on the pot, and now you're ultimately out of position, so you don't go heads up often enough. But in a 2, 3, 5, 20 game, the price that like the 2 and the 3 are getting on the pot when you complete the 20 is not very good.
I think this is just 2-5-20 for what it's
No,
worth.
it's 2, 3, 5, 20.
2-3-5-20.
Yeah.
That's what the submission says.
The game
Wow.
is the game.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah. But I'm just talking to talk because that doesn't change the strategy I would employ here. I still would not limp very often unless I thought everybody just sucked.
Sure.
Like I would still mostly play raise fold from the first blind. spot.
Yeah, I mean, you're still if you limp, you're still giving, even if you think the other two players fold, which, now the 5 is a little happier to complete more hands, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
you're still giving the straddle free flops when you have a tight range and you should be charging them, right? Because you can.
Yeah, the only reason to employ a limp here is if you thought you could go wider. Which, again, you would have to think the other players just kind of suck.
So super tight range, and then the straddle completes pretty wide because now he's closing and getting the best price out of everybody.
Correct.
So you get a good board for you. You should probably just bet the flop as the opener from.
Yeah, it's definitely a range bet spot. So I'm not sure.
If he is supposed to range over, he's supposed to play range check back probably.
Right, that was what I was going to say is, especially on this particular texture, I don't know that we're trapping much in the way of queens, ace queen type of hands. We're pretty capped here at ace jack, I think. Ace deuce is obviously in range and deuces are in range, but there's such a low.
Deuces would bet the turn though, I suppose. I mean, you're just talking about pre versus.
I'm talking
line.
just on the flop when we choose to reopen the action. We're pretty capped here at one pair.
Like ace jack, ace deuce.
Ace deuce and deuces become ace deuce and deuces become absolute ceiling of our range, and we don't have them often. We have 3 combos of deuces and then 2 combos of ace deuce. I imagine ace deuce off is folding most always.
Right.
Is it?
It's not an ante game.
Right. There's no ante.
He did go 3x though.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I wouldn't fold ace. I'm not folding ace deuce, but I'm trying to.
You're not folding deuce 5 off.
I'm trying to speak to the what's correct versus what I would do kind of thing. But in any event, even if you do have ace deuce in full, sure, that allows you to reopen the action a little bit more.
It makes me think.
But that's a very vulnerable hand. Not having queens, not having ace queen, I think is pretty detrimental here, especially at the lowered SPR.
Well, it's probably, if you do get the bet, you'd probably only get the bet small.
Yeah, he went 60 into...
He went 40 in the 120.
Or 40 in the 1... Okay,
40 into 120.
So he chose the right size, I would assume?
I think small would make sense because, you don't want to not have a bet probably.
Right.
I mean, I don't
in practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you in practice.
You have an ace, you have a
they're making an error.
Sometimes.
How do we capitalize on said error? It probably isn't just by playing pure check back.
I mean, this guy got put in the blender.
I'd lean to doing a lot of checking on the flop because we don't have sort of similar to what you said, we don't have a lot of hands, excuse me, that are even interested in going 3 streets.
Right.
Given, blank runouts. So
I think that's a really good way of framing it because the big takeaway there is not even necessarily that we don't have three streets of value. Or I guess that is the takeaway, that we don't really have hands that are trying to play an all-in pot or go for 3 streets of value. And as a counter to that, we don't have a lot of bluffs that want to rifle it off either, right? A lot of our bluffs just kind of want to realize if we have hands like Jack 10, Queen 10, or sorry, King 10, King Jack, these hands don't necessarily need to just find a way all in. 4-5, I think, is a little bit more incentivized to go, but you unblock so much of his continuing range that's not you have to bluff 4-5 in spots where you have aces here and need to get paid. But when we don't really have good hands that need to get paid, we don't really need to worry about supporting our bluffs here.
Yeah, and then also your weaker hands are all kind of way ahead, way behind as well, right? You have a bad ace or a queen. So they're not. They don't really have a lot of incentive to bet for protection or anything like that. So it's almost like all of your hand classes kind of are incentivized to check a little bit.
Yeah. So this is what the solution looks like at equilibrium, and it's useless to us because it's just a range bet. 95% is betting, and we can kind of look and see what happens when checked. But obviously we'll just get the bet big because he checks such a weak range. And yeah, you just see he goes 2E. 3E, 110% pot. But that's just a byproduct of what's checking here, and it's all the bad hands. So
he's got a little. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's pocket kings, not a set.
Right. So what I did here is I locked something that I think is relatively intuitive. So I still have him betting all of his sets. I have him mostly betting his 2-pair, and then I started to lock the top pairs and below. I went with 75% of his top pair continues. his kings are mostly going to check because I think this is like intuition for most people. It's like, oh, ace high board, I have kings, I'll just check, not realizing that they're kind of supported by the rest of their range to just bet everything. Then I went with like Queen X betting half the time, Jack X betting a quarter of the time, King High bluffing half the time, no made hand, which is going to be like your draws and stuff like that. I have 75% bets. So we're going to take a look and see what happens if out of position plays more of a mixed strategy here. And I think the first thing to look at is see how much EV he's losing by playing a mixed strat here as opposed to just a range bet.
Not that much. Range is so strong.
Yeah, I mean, look at this advantage. Like, it's pretty wild how disadvantaged the straddle is here. This is a pretty big advantage. So, if he plays a mixed strat here, he has about 8 in EV. Whenever he's playing a range bet strat, he has like 8.14. We can take a look at one final comparison to see what happens if he were to range check.
Did he won the pot? Did he won the pot?
We'll get to that screenshot at the end.
Oh man, that was great.
Looks like
Sour black cherry ghosts coming to stores near you.
No way.
Yes, sir.
Hell yes.
Hell yeah, brother.
They brought it back. They finally listened to all my complaints.
Sour black cherry for the
cans.
For the cans.
Oh,
the cans.
That's good too.
I've never had the can.
They used to have it as the pre-workout. It's really good.
They never had a canned version.
What has happened to our Wiz share that the crop has just disappeared?
I'll work on it right now.
Oh, it's not a big deal. I was just kind of questioning out loud. All right, so let's see what happens EV wise if we get rid of the bet altogether. Because I guess this could be a thing. He just doesn't know he's supposed to bet in this spot and he plays range check instead. I highly doubt it, but maybe. So now you're starting to lose like pretty substantial EV. So now he's 7.98 compared to the unlock strategy, which is 8.14. I mean, whatever. The whole point is when you have this much advantage, you can't really do anything to fuck up. So it's kind of like a free for all, whatever. So when he checks, still only going to use the big bet size to reopen. So Landon and I were pretty wrong here. And I think it's partly because he's trapping ace queen. So he does have these good hands in there.
You gave him ace queen?
I mean, I just went with the theory ranges.
Yeah.
I think quite often you see this though on ace high and king high boards where if in position or out of position checks and they're the PFR, you just want to check so much of your range that when you do bet, it's quite strong and polar. Right. So you just go really big.
Yeah. And you can see that's how they're constructing. They're using like all the deuce X as bluffs, queen deuce as value, ace deuce off as value, the ace queens as pure bets, and then like ace jack suited without a backdoor is pure betting. Ace jack suited with the backdoor is utilized to protect range. You can see that our ace 10 here bets like 2/3 of the time. So so far so good. Everything's kind of fine here. Would have went for the bigger size. Let's see what happens for size chosen, which is 25%.
Can I say something real quick? Yep. Using a deuce as a bluff is so sweet because if they're balanced, I don't think people are actually balanced when they check here, but if they're balanced, you get worse to fold sometimes.
Right.
You get better to fold sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can't just call with like sixes.
Right.
Yeah, and then you get like worse to call because they have some flush draws and stuff.
Yeah.
So just like, and then also you block pocket twos and you get to
block
control
ace deuce.
Getting to showdown. What's that?
Block ace deuce.
Yeah,
sometimes
it's
make trips.
Super nice.
Turn a deuce.
Yeah. Turn a deuce, oh baby.
Yeah, so it's kind of ironic. When you go down to the small size, you don't bet that much more often. And what actually ends up happening is you're forced to trap a little bit more with some of your good hands. So like queen deuce suited is not pure betting anymore. And part of that is a byproduct of not being needed to support the bluffs because you see you're bluffing a lot less often. So these prior two X hands that were just like rifling it off, they don't have the same effect at quarter pot because of what Jesse just said. Sixes can now happily peel versus quarter, where when you're betting 110% pot, those hands have to fold. So you don't really apply the same pressure now to that like middle weak portion of range. And now these are just betting for future board coverage sake. as opposed to as well as like some denial and a little bit of value here in the moment. Whereas at 110% pot, these are clearly bluffs, and they're an equity denial play. So yeah, your range widens a bit, but not a ton. I think we were betting like what 12% at the big size, maybe 9%, something like that. I guess I can go back and just look. So in this unlocked version, so I was betting 18%. Oh, that's because never mind, not worth looking at. Let's see what it is in this one. Yeah, like so it's like 8% whenever they pure range check. So yeah, it was probably around 12-ish. So you get to bet a little bit more frequently, but not a ton. Ace 10 obviously in there. Actually, now our hand doesn't bet at all. Ironically enough, now Ace 10 of hearts becomes quite, I wouldn't say an error, but a bit of a misapplication.
This is when we have small bet only?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really just wants the backdoor, right? Because a lot of like what you talked about off the rip, there aren't very many hands in our holdings that want to go for 3. So when you bet here initially to reopen the action, you want to have enough robust equity that you can continue through 3 streets. So if you get check raised, having ace 10 of diamonds is clear. If you get check called, now you have very clear barrels on like bricks and diamonds and things of that nature. The offsuit one's obviously a little bit more apt to bet, especially with the 10 of clubs. You can see that those bet in full, where not having a club mostly checks. I think like these simple principles whenever check 2 here are pretty easy to identify, but the mistake may come from not recognizing that out of position just has a range bet and that the check is pretty foreign here. So I imagine when check 2, he just felt like he has something that resembles a range bet versus, out of position that may be giving up on an ace high board. I imagine there's going to be a heavy check raise strategy here. Wow, no, not at all. That's kind of surprising to me. I would have thought that out of position would have played more aggressively, given that we're relatively capped when we reopen, but I guess not. So yeah, it chooses like the ace king, ace queen combos to check raise, and then like as we suspected, like the gut shots, particularly ones with backdoors, a little bit of pocket queens, though most of those just bet themselves to begin with.
We're still not betting that often, even with the 25%. So it's like, if
That's
he check raises, a lot of his hands start running into the top end, which is really bad for most of the hands. So
yeah, that's true. That's a really good point. And also the other point worth making here is there aren't a ton of like very obvious bluffs to pull from, right? Like the gut shots. Mm-hmm. So it's like,
Matt, those gut shots that you're talking about, king 10 and king jack, are those just clubs and diamonds?
That choose check raise?
Yeah.
Yes. And it's not full frequency. King jack check raises a little bit more because it's just kind of a stronger hand, and may retain just a smidge of showdown value. But like I would have check raised 5-4 probably in full, and it just doesn't really check raise at all. Which makes some sense because of what we also talked about off the rip, where like 5-4 just kind of unblocks all of the continues. It doesn't have a lot of blocking power over or it has some blocking power over the folding range. Like I imagine that if you're going to use this as a multi-street bluff, you want to be able to apply pressure to hands like ace 5, ace 4, somewhere along the lines, and that just becomes harder when you have those 2 cards. So call is pretty normal. Turn was the king of clubs. Is that right? Yeah. King of clubs. I wouldn't be surprised to see a fair amount of leading here. Especially after passing on taking the aggressive line on the flop. Wow, none. Wow. Okay.
Well, you do have a lot of 7s to protect and those types of hands.
That's true.
So.
Yeah, that's true. When you look and see like what the bulk of our range is made of, our strongest hands are in the lowest frequencies because they just play differently, right? Mm-hmm. Like they bet themselves or they check raise some. So Jesse's point's very valid here. In position probably has the slightly stronger range at this point. Yeah, you can see it's almost double in EV compared to out of position. So there's a huge shift when we get to this node through this line work, where the small blind has basically sacrificed all of their EV in the pot. They would have just taken a different line with a lot of their best hands. So when we arrive here, now ace 10 becomes a pure bet. as does most of our range. This is something I think people miss a little bit too often when when flush cards feel like this, both flush and straight cards nonetheless. When the initial raiser sacrifices initiative post and you choose to reopen your entire range, or you choose to reopen and have a complete range, I think a big mistake that a lot of live players make is that they put the out of positions range highly concentrated to draws that they didn't want to get blown off of. So they give them like way too many combinations of straight draws and flush draws that didn't want to have to face an in position raise should they c-bet. Totally forgetting that they themselves don't raise in position very often, if ever. And so the out of position player isn't very incentivized to think this way of like, oh, I don't want to get blown off my draw. I'm just going to check and call it. And then additionally, they forget about like how weak a lot of the out of positions ranges that has showdown value. So all those middling pocket pairs.
Pair with club.
All the pair with a club, the Queen X, the 10X, the Jack X type of hands that now have gut shots, or pair plus gut shots, I should say. There's a lot that you can attack there. And more importantly, if you're checking back all of your showdown value that doesn't have a club, then your check back range is insanely weak, or you have to now check back really strong hands that would never in a million years check here, like a flush. So, like, if we...
well, also, like, this is in theory where they actually have flush draws, but in reality, they're just betting the flop with 9-8 of clubs so much.
Right.
So, like, they don't even have very many flushes when the king of all cards rolls off.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, yeah, if we now filter this for clubs, so for turn flushes, you could see that the only ones that really choose to check back for protection's sake is a royal half the time, which, okay, you have the board locked. Of course, you're going to check that back some of the time. And then hands that block a royal. So like Jack 6 of clubs, some frequency, Jack 5 of clubs. But even these frequencies here are really low. And then you have a little bit of the 9X of clubs that will check back here. And I imagine that this is just partly due to the fact that it's hard to get all in with these combos and run into worse. But it's also a byproduct probably of how many flushes you actually just have. You have such a higher concentration to flushes, and that's the other thing that I think is missed here. If we go to range breakdown, let's see, 14% of our range is going to be a flush here. If we go back to the previous node, only 3% of their range is a flush. That discrepancy just allows us to reopen pretty much our range, right? And that's a big thing to key in on, because now your ace X should get its second street of value here and not ever have to face this river decision that our hero actually runs into. You shouldn't need to play bluff catch on a board texture where it would be weird for them to back into bluffs, right? But that's ultimately what ended up happening. Turn goes check, check. River is what was the river?
Deuce, offsuit deuce.
Yeah, red deuce.
Oh, red deuce. Okay. Yeah, I think I'd be pretty inclined to just fold. So all in is not used. Do I have these sizings right? He jammed for...
No, he check jammed.
Oh,
yes, check.
Check.
Little
check.
under pot
Okay.
jam.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
Yeah.
But we also still don't know who won the pot.
Okay, so out of position does get to play some leads here with aces full specifically, and it's building its range around these full houses, aces full, ace deuce, these types of holdings. And then, but like this is just going to be pretty awkward. I imagine most people aren't going to play that.
Jack 10 lead jamming? That's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Wait, is this a jam or just a lead big?
Lead big.
300%.
It's not a jam.
Not a
Okay.
jam. You're at 9 SPR.
300% though? That's...
Yeah,
I mean,
strong. That's what I mean. Nobody's going to find that, so let's assume they just play check.
It's called the big hand, big bet strategy.
Right.
It's called,
classic strat.
Classic
yeah,
strat.
Never
Classic
gets
old man
old.
coffee strat.
It's time,
I actually need to go back here and lock because we don't get to river with any ace 10. So let's just give it a little bit ace 10, ace jack.
Probably calls a little bit of the time, to be honest with you. Because, like, you're not too sense.
I don't think we're going to reopen it on the river.
You
I
can
feel
get
like-
called by worse. King Jack,
Maybe.
Queen Jack. I think the size is too big. Like pot, I would go 67, but
I feel like we just have enough twos and hands with a club in it and stuff that we never need to. Could certainly be wrong.
But okay, so you're taking away the overbet.
Yeah, I'm gonna take away the leads.
He didn't. Wait, what do you mean you're taking away the leads? He could bet. This guy could bet the river though.
Right. I forgot that it went check.
It went check turn, so he can definitely bet the river. Just give like quarter and like pot. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
He'll bet sometime. Why not?
I forgot that he's not breaking flow.
Breaking the flow.
Okay, so gets the lead for the smaller sizes quite a bit.
Yeah, 67.
So yeah, ace 10 does reopen. Ace 10 of hearts mostly does reopen, surprisingly. But ironically, ace jack never reopens. I wonder why that is. It has to have something to do with the kicker. Obviously, the interaction with like what the potential check raise bluffs are, I would imagine. Because all the ace X's are the same to us. Our kickers
ace
on board.
tiny is better than ace big because the ace is the same. Yeah, like betting ace 4.
Yeah, but
You
like
get called
specifically ace 6, ace jack don't want to really reopen.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some sort of blocker reason there.
But
you're right.
I do feel like we're far enough down a kind of an abstract node, and there's few enough combos of hands left that like. You're right. It's some blocker effect, but it's like probably going to be not really applicable.
Right.
It's just like
you're not going to learn anything
on
from
exact
this.
Things.
Yeah. And this is also like really dependent upon like being supported by check back flushes. Like you can just see how many of these check back flushes are like supporting these value bets, as well as like ace queen that checks back at some frequency. But like we just don't really have any houses. All of our ace deuce exited on the turn.
Right.
We don't have aces, kings, or queens. So like we're pretty vulnerable to check raises here, I would think.
Well, this is why I think ace 10 has to call sometimes.
Yeah. So what did he end up betting? 2/3?
He bet pot.
He bet pot, yeah.
Okay.
Pot and then...
I don't know if you would reopen for pot with the ace 10 in theory.
Well, you just can't because you're so capped. Like you just can't go that big. You to your point, like you basically have to reopen for a size you think your hand is worth. Well, you just reopen for the size that you think your hand is worth, and then be prepared to defend against check raises.
Yeah.
You know, you're reopening a king in the ace, king, queen game, basically, and you never have an ace to support it. Okay, so now ace 10 pure checks, obviously. It had like a sliver of bet, but let's see what happens.
And he ravages.
Now we face jam.
Kind of happy to see full kings and not many other combos for value for them, because it did feel like kings is going to be a huge chunk of their value as
Kings
played,
and queens.
from an actual human being.
Yeah, aces, kings, and queens, but obviously aces like would exit earlier. And then he has like some ace deuce suited that makes it this far. But yeah, it's all full houses, ace deuce, king deuce. And then the bluffs are coming from like pocket jacks, king jack, queen jack. So this is why ace jack doesn't reopen, because all the bluffs are coming from jack X.
Right.
That's why ace 10
But like,
can
how
reopen.
different is king 10 and king jack in practice? Not very different.
Yeah, not very.
It's just a matter of what
he just has way more available jack X than he does 10X.
It's pretty. I think it looks pretty close, but I think the idea is that in position bets more with the 10 in their hand on the turn.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. We
So
forced
then you
the
want
lock
them to have
phrase.
the jack,
Right,
which
yeah.
means you don't want to bet the river with the jack.
You're absolutely right, because we made them have ace 10 get to the river through a lock, but without that, then the ace 10 doesn't exist, and ace jack is now the one.
Feels that way.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
It's like, how different is king 10 and king jack really?
Right. So does it ever call? Almost never, but sometimes. I guess, if we really pull it out.
If you had a deck read, if you had a soul read.
It's breaking even calling, but I imagine in practice it's losing a lot. I would be shocked if he won this pot.
It's honestly,
if he won this pot, I think he's against exactly jacks with the jack of clubs.
It's kind of sick that the guy he's playing found this line too, for what it's worth.
Is it?
I think so. Like finding river check. Like you have to be pretty patient playing 2-5.
Well, right, but it's all born off of playing check call on flop. Like once you play check call on flop, it's pretty easy.
It feels
on
like
river.
kings then.
Yeah, it's pretty easy on river to then just say like, oh, this guy's gonna bet a lot of hands when I check to him, because he either has a lot of nothing that just took a stab and checked back, or this deuce now improved like his weakest aces to reopen.
By the way, it's like this weird psychological thing I've noticed where people love to check the hand that improved
right
on that street. I don't know what it is, but every time they improve, they seem to go for the check raise, which, I mean, sometimes it makes sense.
Well, because
right?
if you improved, you assume that like they got worse, so they're not going to be very happy to call. It's the live mindset, right?
Yeah.
It's, their range got weaker, so I don't want to start putting money in the pot because I know what happens when their range gets weaker. I get a bunch of overfolds.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it lines up with theory. I just have noticed it happens.
Yeah. Well,
like there used to be a running joke that every time somebody improves on WSOP.com, they just checked.
I play with a lot of guys who play this way. But the thing is what they're missing, what they don't have clear picture of is like, yes, that's true. When a range weakens, it doesn't want to put money into the pot necessarily, passively or actively. And they twist their mind to believe that the threshold for betting is lower than the threshold for calling, which in the live psychology may actually be true. But what they're failing to recognize is that if you bet yourself, the amount of money that you can put in the middle versus the top of their range is much greater than the amount of money that they'll voluntarily put in themselves. They'll find like a nitty check back with a hand that has to reopen and is supposed to call the check raise, but reopens too small or checks back sometimes and then never calls the check raise because that line is nutted itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then it becomes a bit of a disaster. Yeah, I've definitely had to contend with that concept myself in the past where I was doing a lot of check raising on rivers because almost exactly what you said, their betting range and their calling range is very similar.
Yeah.
But, it was pointed out to me, hey, maybe they bet a little bit smaller than you would bet or a lot smaller. I was like, oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Matthew? Is this a reject me, Daddy?
I think there were some errors made here. I think the missed turn bet is the biggest problem with this hand for the hero. I think the out of position player voluntarily sacrificed a ton of EV, and we could have taken advantage of that by playing a one street game. I would have played check back on flop, probably check back on turn, and then reopen river if check to a third time. As played, I would bet check. And I think both of those lines massively outperform the bet check, bet call line. Bet check, bet calling, when your reason for checking back the turn is that the board deteriorated in a bad way for you, that ain't it. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm going to check back my hand now on the turn because I want to protect my gut shot and clubs filled, so I don't want to get check raised by a flush when I have one pair and a draw to an inferior hand. Like, that logic does not line up with, I was checked to a second time. Now I'm going to go for value with top pair and try to get middle pair to call me, which is actually incentivized to bluff me. I think we kind of...
We lost the plot.
Yeah, we lost the plot somewhere along the way.
And we did not won the pot.
1v1.
By the way, there's a very good chance that this guy was just waiting in the wings with pocket kings.
Yeah.
On the river.
For sure.
If I had to pick 2 words to describe that type of behavior.
The callbacks are great.
Oh, man. Excellent.
He didn't limp, though.
The callbacks
Excellent.
are great.
Don't ruin it. Excellent callback, Jesse. It was a wonderful way to end today's podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to come here for your WSOP coverage because we'll get to it in the midst of how to pronounce. How to pronounce. So get the fuck out of my shot. Trying to close the show.
Now use
We'll be back tomorrow at noon Pacific. I think Brent Hanks is going to be joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about the WPT Squid game. We'll also fill you in on who makes the final table of the 25K in Paradise, as well as day 4 of the WPT. So be sure to tune in then. We'll see you guys all.
Later, squad.
Peace.